Alright, this is my part 2 for anyone who saw up to part 1 for my DVD update for July 7th, 2009. I have 4 more DVDs to go, so let's get into it. Alright, my first one is the Rifftrax of the Grudge, the Rifftrax edition. For those who don't know, Rifftrax are done by the guys who used to star on the Mystery Science Theater 3000, where they used to make fun of the movies. They're essentially doing the same thing, but with more... Oh, God, I got like a burp that won't come out. I hate that. They do it like for bigger known movies, and they really rip this one up. I really hope they do one. If they haven't done one for The Ring yet, I'd like to see them do one for The Ring, because they really did a good job with The Grudge. It was really funny. Not the funniest one I've ever seen, but pretty darn funny. Next is the very first movie I think Matt Dillon was in, made back in 1979, Over the Edge. It's about kids. It's kind of based on a true story where the ratio of kids to adults in one town was like 5 to 1. Like it was 5 kids to 1 adult, and there was a lot of drugs going on and kids going crazy, and all the adults were trying to get big developers to come in and take all their rec centers and special places where the kids would go away, and they rebelled against it, and they had locked all the adults in the in a big PTA meeting and shit, and shot up their cars and blew up their cars and all this crazy shit. Really interesting movie. First movie, as I said, Matt Dillon was in. I totally recommend this. You know, it's a very interesting film, I think. It's a little slow for some people, but I think it's right at the right pace. If you're a fan of Dazed and Confused, if you're a fan of Empire Records, oh geez, those teen, mid-20s, late teens, teen angst movies where they're going around and doing what they want. This is the late 70s version of that. That's not Dazed and Confused of that version. So I definitely recommend Over the Edge if you like those kind of movies. If you like Heathers, you would enjoy this movie as well, I think. Next is a movie that I only watched halfway through because I got sidetracked or something. But from what I watched of it, it was pretty good. It's from 1972, I believe. At least 1972. I got this at Big Lots for $2. Private Parts, which is a weird-ass movie about a girl who is a runaway, and she goes to her aunt who owns a hotel and gets a room there, and starts sneaking around and looking at other people's rooms and shit, and seeing how weird the characters are. And there's a pedophile-ish type priest in there, and killers on the loose. It's just really all kinds of weird, but my kind of movie. I really want to finish watching it because it's weird. I only watch about 40 minutes of it, but from what I saw of it, it's definitely a pickup for people who like weird Italian films. If you like, if you like Tales from the Crypt, the old series, you would definitely enjoy this. It has that campiness to it. If you enjoy the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you'd love this movie. It's a semi-traumatic type film, so if you like trauma films, Squeeze Play, any trauma movie really. Because I'm surprised this movie isn't picked up by Trauma. It's very trauma-like, but it doesn't have the comedy like Trauma. It's more like a serious movie, like Unspeakable, but not a terrible film. Unspeakable's an ungodly terrible film. That's the only movie that I gave away. Honestly, that's the only DVD I ever paid for, and I gave to somebody else, because that movie's just that terrible. That movie, I would put it actually up with, my other favorite worst movie of all time, Heavy Metal Massacre. But at least Heavy Metal Massacre, it was bad because it was really a terrible film because of everything around in it. Heavy Metal Massacre, it's just the themes of it or not Heavy Metal Massacre, Unspeakable is just terrible. Like, the story's just awful, the acting's bad. Oh, I just hate it. And I hate the laughing in the background, just in case you hear it. People like to talk over my videos, and I tell them to be quiet, and they don't want to listen. Lastly is my DVD, which is bare bones, even though it's a special edition, of Run, Ronnie Run, starring Bob Odenkirk, Dave Cross, and Nikki Cox is in here, being hot. David Cross and Bob Odenkirk used to do a show called Mr. Show with Bob and David on HBO. It's kind of where Jack Black got his start in comedy, I would say. He was on there for I don't know if it was all season. I know it was the first two because I only have the first 2 seasons of Mr. Show. But this movie essentially takes one of the characters that were in the first season of Mr. Show, which was Ronnie Dobbs, and which he would go around like in a cops-like setting and run away from the cops and do coke, and everyone was always brutalizing him. So they take that aspect of who he is and how he tries to run away from the cops, and makes a whole show about how he avoids police officers and stuff like that, and he gets like famous overnight because he's like a reality kind of film star, and Nikki Cox becomes his like girlfriend and stuff like that. It's funny. If you're a fan of Mr. Show, you'll love this movie. It's a real like unknown comedy gem, especially if you like those kind of weird ass comedies like that. If you like Heathers, you'll like this movie. If you love Mr. Show, you'll like this movie. If you like David Cross's type of comedy, you'd like the film. If you're a fan of Tim and Eric's Awesome Show, Great Job, you would like this because Bob Odenkirk produces that show, I believe. So it's like that kind of comedy. Well, that's it for my update. I don't have it in front of me. It's in there, but part of my update will be Heavy Metal Massacre. I talked about that in my review. I don't really want to show it on YouTube too much because it's an atrocity of mankind and really doesn't need to be shown by anyone else. I did send a copy of that DVD to the Cinema Snob, though, along with Robot Ninja. So maybe he'll do a review about it, maybe not, who knows. That's it, I guess. We'll talk to you later, YouTube. Eventually I'm going to do a review of Tear Up Blood Fart Lake. I don't know when that's going to be. So, yeah. That's it. I'll talk to you later, YouTube.